started, and I'll just be a minute or so looking for something to talk about.
Yeah.
I see you.
You have the right there or what?
Oh, massive nade, oh my goodness.
Go left.
Move along. Pushing the barricade. Let's keep it up.
Okay, from there, probably, you know, minor thing, but probably the range where you can probably start scoping in. Nice sleep. Trying to remember, are pings showing up in this?
No.
No.
I pinged it
You
and I
pinged it?
calmed it in VC. I said,
Gotcha.
but my team was like, somebody, I want to get on bot, and I was like, there's a bot sleeping back here, but yeah, I'll get on it.
Yeah, I feel like it's inconsistent because you can see it. You can see pings here, right, from like
Yeah.
other players. So I think it's like it's just really, really buggy and inconsistent when
I
pings show
think
through.
so. You would notice because I almost spam ping. Like I ping a lot.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Close your eyes. I've got you. They'll have to try harder than that. I'll pick you up.
Okay, so probably could have looked to use sleep on ball, and then we also kind of look away from who's being hit by ball, like on the front line. So we kind of turn around here for the Genji.
You need this.
I guess that's not a big deal, but like probably sleeping ball could have been a good thing there to help alleviate pressure off your teammates.
Okay.
Remember, prioritize healing over damage. So
Yeah.
if Reinhardt's critical, that takes the priority. So we could have possibly hoped to heal him up and keep him alive there if we were paying attention. Okay, make sure we're keeping line of sight on McCree. That whole time we didn't have line of sight on him at all. We probably could have decently easily. Where could we have been standing to keep line of sight on him?
Oh,
Well,
sort of the left in the doorway?
yeah, like something like over here, where, you know, you're still safe, you still have your whole team with you, you can still back up as needed, but you now have line of sight on him, right? So just making sure to keep line of sight on your teammates, and that's part of positioning. Whereas here, we just don't really seem to pay attention to him at all, so we're kind of like dooming him to death unless he comes to you, right?
Yeah.
Which is what happens.
Yeah.
Alright, and then, what's the problem here? Why do you end up dying?
Just no awareness on the Bastion. Like I know he's there. I know he has turret form, and when I sleep the ball, that's like 5 million years away. That's not gonna get much value. But also now I have a Bastion on me that's in turret, and I don't have cover because I haven't positioned myself correctly, and I don't have sleep dart because I've wasted it on the ball.
Oh, perfect analysis. You pretty much touched on all the points there, because there's a little bit of everything. You didn't see and/or react to the Bastion. We could have slept the Bastion, but instead you slept the ball, and yeah, no cover. So a little bit of everything there. Okay, so we got every ult in our team. Okay, good sleep. Misplaced nade that didn't really seem to do very much. Let's see.
Yeah, I find myself struggling to position myself correctly on these push maps. Like, I think I want to be on bot here, but like, I probably should just be back. Like, I don't know, because I come down and I want to get to the fight really quickly, so I come down these stairs, but then that puts me in an awkward chokehold, and now I'm trying to rotate and I want to take this long LOS, but my Ryan's just pinned up the staircase that I just came from, so now I can't see him, and I think that I don't know. I struggle a lot to find good positioning. Like when I came out here, I probably should have gone into this room. Yeah, like the like mini health pack room. I feel like I should have positioned here, and then I would have been out of reach of a lot of their like everybody other than their Genji and maybe their ball. Like I would have been able to rotate out easier. And I wouldn't have been stuck in that awkward choke while also maintaining LOS. Plus, then I could back out into this doorway and see my Rhine if I needed to. Like, it would have just been better, but I wasn't thinking. I just wanted to get to the fight quickly.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all things that you can be thinking about like as you're on this entire walk back phase, right? While
Yeah.
you're walking back this whole way, this whole time, that's stuff that you can be thinking about because you can see where's their team, where's my team, where's the bot at, where are we going to be kind of merging at, and then you can be kind of planning that all out as you're approaching. And I think you're right. Doorway, coming up through here is probably your best bet. Just because, like you said, then this kind of puts you in a choke point. It's not. I don't think this is kind of hard because your team's kind of split up. So I don't think you're gonna have perfect line of sight on anybody here. But I think you're pretty much right with that assessment. The doorway's probably best. Create dies out of LOS. Really, only thing in that scenario I could maybe say is just trying to communicate to him quicker to get him to, come around the corner or something like that. Tell him, hey, you're too far forwards. Beyond that, I don't think there's very much you could do. Because if you're positioning anywhere where you can see McCree, then then you're in a really exposed position. But also, you probably can't see Reinhardt. Maybe the only thing I can say here is you could possibly position somewhere like over here, which could give you line of sight on everything, but that would also open you up to being isolated and getting dove by Ball and Genji. So it's kind of a give or take no matter what you're doing here. Either you're losing line of sight on the McCree or you're opening up to getting flanked, and it's kind of just there's in some circumstances there's not going to be the perfect positioning. It's just going to be kind of checking off as many boxes as you're able to, even if you can't check off everything.
Yep.
So I'd probably say being on top of cart maybe isn't the best place to be. Very nice.
Oh my god, hit a shot? Okay. Oh.
Escorting the robot. Come over here. Appreciate you. Patience and progress. Stand up straight. You're powered up. Get in there.
Okay, really great nano timing.
Stand up
Let's see if is there anything we could have done to Lucio. Okay, so we probably could have healed Lucio a little bit quicker. So like two very minor points would be that we firstly weren't aware of the bot, so bot ended up walking in front of us. Secondly, the fact that we're kind of going for unscoped shots at like a decently like medium range here, so probably could have been helpful if we were, I don't know, something like here and scoping in, or just for extra accuracy, maybe chucking in a nade at some point, but just like a couple things that we could have done to help keep Lucio alive.
You're powered up. Get in there. Getting drowsy?
Oh, massive sleep, but also noticing that we are at 1 ammo and haven't reloaded, so watching our reloads.
أنا ما حدش يقدر عليا.
Because now we have a critical Genji and we're in the middle of reloading.
Give it a push.
Launch inanimate objects.
Come here to get healed.
Okay, so here Reinhardt charges in. We see that he charges in, and yet we see that he's critical. Yet we kind of get distracted by the Kiriko. So at the moment it seems as though you end up. This I'd say is probably like lack of awareness, or we kind of get distracted by the fact. But Reinhardt's critical. So now this is a couple times we've seen so far this game where we've had like critical teammates that we like probably could have done something about, but either we're just too slow to react to it, or we're not noticing that they're critical and they need you. So here it would have probably been really easy just to keep running up and around that corner so you can see Reinhardt quicker, and then that way you can heal him quicker, possibly keep him alive, but you end up just being very delayed with it, and then Reinhardt ends up dying in that meantime. Even here, when he's around that corner, you can be chucking in a nade, because that goes around the corner, right? Because it has that splash radius. So we could be throwing a nade right now to heal him as you're approaching.
I have you. Keep fighting.
Protect the robots.
For your wounds. I am
Okay,
unbreakable.
very nice kill.
I am unbreakable. Taking damage. I keep you up.
Yeah, I overstayed my welcome, was ignoring my Rhine. I was just overall a little bit of a mess.
Yeah, all good. It's good. And the other thing I'm noticing that you're doing well so far in this session is you're doing a really great job at identifying your mistakes, which is really great. That means that you're kind of on that path of self-improvement. If you're able to identify these things, that's a really crucial tool to be able to have, and it's not something that everyone is able to pick up very easily, to be able to self-identify mistakes. So that's good that you're already like, I'll pause it and you're like, oh yeah, I already knew that. Yeah, I know what I did, right? And that's a good thing that you do know what you're doing wrong, because then the next step is thinking, okay, I did this wrong, I do that, and this is what I should have done, and then once again looking for that application and then putting that into practice. So that's keep that up.
Keep fighting. Taking care of you.
Okay. Little bit delayed to go for the nade here, because we see that they're all grouped up, and this is once again like you see those opportunities where all of them are kind of clumped up next to each other, and that's when we want to be looking to throw a nade. But we throw the sleep first, which I know that's the thing obviously here that you're focusing on, just using sleep off cooldown, and that's the habit you're trying to create, which is a great thing. But for the sake of like efficiency and what you should be doing, generally sleep is the more defensive ability and nade is the more offensive ability. So generally nade, in terms of order used, generally speaking, not an end all be all, but generally nade is used first before sleep is. But if you see a situation where sleep is going to be better, use sleep. Like if there's somebody to sleep, then go for it. But otherwise, nade first usually, especially if you see the opportunity for it, like this one, where there's 3 people clumped up. So we just go for the wrong ability. We end up chucking in the nade too late, and then it just doesn't get anybody. Okay, once again, not noticing critical teammates, so Reinhardt, we're being very delayed to notice.
Stand up straight. One for you.
Yeah.
And I
Keep
don't get my Lucio killed here, I think. Oh no.
Oh no. Yeah, so what then, what did we do wrong there?
I threw my nano deflecting Genji.
Okay, so should you have not thrown nade, or what
No,
should you
I
have
should have
done?
thrown it at the floor to the side of him, so it didn't hit
Exactly.
his deflect.
Yep, and then you could have also healed your Lucio too with it as well, right? So once again, that gets to never, you're not aiming for people, you're aiming for the ground, but then especially on a character who can deflect, you're aiming at the ground. I think you had a mine with that.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Okay. At this point, you probably, I guess you can kind of be with the team. Yeah, it might be best to back out and regroup so you have all your teammates. So that's good that we're not pushing here. Oh, okay.
You're powered up. Get in there.
All right.
I don't know why I'm not healing my Rein there. I'll be completely honest. I don't know why. I see he's in my LOS. He's in the middle of my screen actually, and I just don't.
Yeah, I think it's possible. You seem to be following the Genji here, so I'm thinking maybe you see you have Nano Blade. Maybe he's calling it in chat or pressing the button that he has it. So I'm thinking you're probably getting tunnel visioned on the Nano Blade here, is my thought, because we keep glancing back at the Genji and the Genji. So because we're looking at the Genji so much, we're not noticing the Reinhardt, whom you could probably, do both and heal him up and then go for the Nano, right?
And I think that I don't know like how to solve. Overwatch is so overstimulating, like in a lot of ways, and especially when the enemy team is playing things like Wrecking Ball or Doomfist, and it's like this thing in the side of my screen that's like whipping itself around, and or it's booping me, or like this Wrecking Ball's on the right here, and God knows what he's doing. He's like he's like grappled and just moving around, and I think I get so distracted by that too. So I'm like looking at my Genji, and I think my Genji is in chat and calling Nanoblade here, but I get so distracted, like I'm like and I'm trying to manage my cooldowns, and I'm like, should I sleep this ball here? And then I'm like, okay, now I have Nanoblade, and it's like a million things in my head, and I don't like I need to be better at like organizing those things, because then they just kind of mush, and then I miss things like the critical Reinhardt in the middle of my screen.
Yeah,
And
for sure. And that seems to be so far a recurring theme of the session so far, is that you seem to be missing teammates who are low HP, and I think you're very right, is that it is a lot. There is a lot in Overwatch. So when it comes to improving your awareness and seeing things and being able to organize and manage it, you want to it's once again, it comes back to that application process of how do you work on your awareness. Will you work on, and how do you not tunnel vision? Will you work on that by making sure that as you're playing, you're actively thinking about your awareness, you're actively focusing on it, so that when you come into your game, you're thinking to yourself, awareness, 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 look around, where's my to pay attention to where's my teammates at, where's the enemy teammates at. Those seem to be two big ones, like you were just saying, where are people at? And if those are the main things, focus on those parts of awareness, and then as you do that, they will become, you'll be better at it, and that forms as a habit. Once it's a habit, then then that's how it's organized in your brain better, where you'll be able to much smoother and easier and with a very snap judgment be able to see all of that, just because it comes more naturally, right? Like, for me, playing the game and having thousands of hours in the game, awareness is something that just kind of comes super naturally just because of how much experience I have with it. I don't even have to think about it, it just happens. And as you just think about it and practice at it and focus on it, that's what it'll become more like, and then you can move on to the next things. Just like how when you're working on your sleeps and nates here, it's because you're thinking about using it more, you're using it more, they're better, and then if you do that for a week or two, then it's just gonna be there. It's just going to be a thing. You don't even need to think about it. It just happens. And that's just habit forming and whatnot. So that's what I would say is just once, maybe for this next week, that'll be the thing to work on, of just focusing on where are people around me, focusing on awareness, and then that will help improve your awareness overall. Does that make sense? Any questions on it?
No, that makes sense. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because then we go and chuck a sleep across the map, and then there's a ball right next to us, right? So that's another awareness thing. So that would help keep us alive. So just reminder, sleep is more defensive, nade is more offensive. We're using sleep a little bit more aggressively, and then also as that other reminder, let's go into, because I don't know if this is all sounding super familiar, then that's fine, let me know. But just as the reminder, if we have talked about it anyways, when it comes to sleep and nade usage, and even on other supports as well, you want to keep in mind what comp they're running, because team comp dictates playstyle. When they're running different things, you play differently. When you're running different things, you play differently. So because team comp dictates playstyle, you have to think about congestion. Can people contest you? Or I guess the better way to say that is pressure. Do you have the potential for pressure, and is there actual pressure? Potential for pressure would be like they have a Genji and a ball. That's the potential for pressure. But if their Genji and their ball never touch you the entire game, then they haven't actualized the potential they have for pressure. So you can play a little bit differently. So when you come into a game, you're looking at what is their potential for pressure. Do they have nothing to contest you? Use your abilities off of cooldown. Do they have like one Genji? Well, maybe, since they have a bit of potential to contest you, maybe you just hold on to sleep a little bit, right? And just hold, or you rotate. The first step would be you rotate your abilities. You use nade, you wait 5 seconds, then you use sleep, and then you're never far away from another ability. Then the next step up would be, now you start, maybe they have like a Genji and a Tracer, so you start holding on to sleep more frequently. Let's say they're on a full dive composition, then you hold on to sleep and nade all the time, so you have them always ready for when they're on top of you. So that's potential for pressure. Then actual pressure would be, now that you're 3 fights into the game, what are they actually doing to you? If they have stuff to contest you, but they aren't contesting you, then maybe you don't need to hold on to your abilities, because then you're just doing nothing with your abilities if you're holding on to them and they're not actually coming for you. But if they are contesting you more, like let's say they only have one Genji, but their one Genji's on you every single fight of the game, then you can probably start holding on to more abilities, right? So it's just think about when you come into your games of actual potential for versus actual pressure and how that dictates your abilities. Does that all make sense? Yep. So we're using sleeps a little bit more aggressively than we should at the moment, but it's still, once again, using it is still better than never using it, and we wouldn't have been able to talk about this if you weren't using it at all.
Oh, oh.
Oh my gosh. I'm just not hitting a shot.
All right, progress. That's what I like to see.
Approaching final resistance. أنا محدش يقدر علي.
Okay. So people are dying off of our screen. We're not really noticing them. So firstly, Lucio dies. Is there anything we could have done? Lucio kind of gets decimated, so not really. Our Genji pushes forwards. Probably want to make sure you're keeping line of sight on him. So once again, keeping an eye on where teammates are. If our Genji's dashing into an aggressive position, he probably is going to need healing soon, so this is part of pre-aiming. And pre-aiming is essentially, I mean, you can think of it in different ways. Pre-aiming could be, I am aiming around the corner expecting someone to come to where my shot is, or you could be pre-aiming at your Genji knowing he's going to be taking damage soon. So we're ready to heal him the moment he takes it. So a really easy way to think of this is like, okay, you have a Pharah who's barraging or a McCree who's high nooning. They're probably going to get shot, therefore you probably want to be looking at them and healing them, right? It's the same exact concept where if your Genji dashes into the enemy team, then he's probably going to be taking damage, and therefore you probably want to be looking at him, right? Make sense? Okay, so the other thing is maybe if you feel like pressured, because you're low HP, just throw a heal nade, right? So that you're not under as much pressure. It's more important, you can chuck the heal nade real quick and then peek and heal the Genji. It's better that you keep the Genji alive than save your nade cooldown.
Okay.
This is back here.
Yeah, I probably should have just died here. But,
Yeah.
like sooner.
It's all about if you think you can make it out. If you don't think you can make it out, then probably just want to let them kill you. Okay. Great nade. Once again, maybe tossing out sleep a little quick when could be used maybe like on the ball or something like that.
Watching over this position.
They've taken Zeroba!
not a massive thing, but just noticing once again it's the first ability used. Okay. You're doing a pretty solid job of getting chip damage in where able. Okay, so how did we get separated from our teammates here? So right here, we're backing up. Tracer goes left room. Your whole team's over here. You're pretty far back. Your Reinhardt charges in. Your Lucio goes up over top. Okay, so your whole team is up over in that room right now. What could / should you be doing at the moment?
I should be rotating, reloading while I'm rotating, but I should have gone with my Lucio probably. Like when I see that my Rein goes in there, I should already be looking for a rotate and then just
Where should you be rotating to?
behind this bus and then or the trolley or whatever, and then through to the other side of the room, right? Because I shouldn't go
So over
across.
here, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I think that you're right. That might take a little while.
I don't know how else I get up there because if I
Yeah,
go the high ground, I don't think I see them for a longer time. And
yeah. It's really hard at the moment. Because your team kind of left you. I don't think you could have gone with the Reinhardt because he charged it and you weren't expecting him to aggress that far.
he also charged in that door, like in the
Yeah,
front door.
yep. So you can't go this route right now, right?
Yeah.
This is kind of a really difficult situation, and there's not really. I don't think you were in the wrong positioning originally. Maybe you could have back something that could have helped was back when you were over here. Instead of backing out this direction, you could have backed out this direction, so you could have taken high ground. That
Mhm.
probably would have been a beneficial thing earlier on in the fight. But now that you're in this situation, can't go this way. This way seems like a decent option, though I think that that's also gonna take a really long time. This way would take a little bit longer, but you would be able to maintain line of sight on Lucio and Genji sooner. Um, so you'd be able to see those guys and then be able to help out with them and be on high ground as well. So honestly, I think it'd just be like either one of those two options, under or around the top. Would probably be best. It's hard to say because you don't know if your teammates are going to die or how long they're going to be in there or things like that. Okay, so that's what you do. Maybe a little bit delayed.
There you go. I did not need to die here. I just don't wake the Curie, I think. I think I just... and then run. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe potentially, once again, holding sleep for the ball rather than trying to sleep the Kiri.
Yeah.
You could potentially just try running and then using a self-heal nade.
Overtime. Stop them and you win. No power down. Get in there.
Okay. No reason not to be on high ground right now if that's just going to give you superior positioning, put you further away from enemies. Notice how, once again, we're using... okay, so, so high ground here keeps you alive over, Genji being on top of you.
Yeah. I'm like in front of their entire team. It's just a
Yeah.
bad...
Yep. Exactly.
Overtime.
Alright, so that's it for the replay. We have 20 minutes left, 23 minutes left. Do you have another replay you'd like to go over?
See.
We can do about last 10 minutes for a wrap-up review. So we have 12 more minutes.
I might have... I've kind of sucks. I went on a win streak on my account, so I don't
Mm-hmm.
have any losses. So I don't
Well, that means improvement.
have. Like, so
My bad. Yeah, what's up?
this, I don't entirely know this game. So fair warning.
All good. I'm sure we can find something in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's looks like a hard boss, so it should. I'm sure I made mistakes.
Ready for battle.
Nice. I think his map looks good at nighttime.
Yeah,
Ready for battle.
It's pretty sick. It gives me like Kings Row vibes.
All of us are
yes, very much. I
scientists,
don't.
but that's no reason to
There's
be
some of them that like I don't like Route 66, like the Overcast.
Hmm.
I don't like it. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Okay, so let's talk positioning here at the moment. So,
Yeah, I don't know where to position on this map. I always
hmm.
default here.
Mm-hmm. So at the moment, does this positioning put you out of enemy line of sight? Let's just go through all the
Yes.
checkboxes.
Yes.
Yes. Does it give you cover?
It's not really like it gives me cover from the enemy now, but like if they came in, I wouldn't have an super easy place to go. I could go behind this truck, but
Yeah, so maybe like even this could just be like a hair better just for cover usage. Does this positioning give you like an escape route that you're able to use?
um not really. I mean, I don't know. It's so open that I could back onto point or I could back up more closer to spawn in that hallway, but
Yeah, so it kinda, it kinda checks
yeah,
in. Does this give you high ground?
no,
Does this give you angles to land your nades better than average?
no.
No. In fact, maybe like tad bit worse than average, just from distance, right?
Yeah.
Um, so if we're looking at different options, like really the only other great option I would say there is probably to be positioning yourself like up on the high ground over here.
Okay.
Because then this gives you high ground.
I always find it super awkward to position here just because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I can't see my team. Like I
Mm-hmm.
have to be on the edge of this high ground. Like, are you talking about stairs or like this?
Honestly, both. Like you can be rotating up and around. Like you can just kind of do whatever's needed. Cause like you can be like you can be on stairs here, and then you can check high ground once in a while. You can listen for high ground, and then what that does for you is it gives you the ability to contest people coming high ground, so that Doomfist can't just like walk through and then jump on you immediately, because you could have seen him coming from all the way over here and slept him and then pinged him for your teammates and then backed up. So it puts pressure on the high ground. Then you can still kind of see your team perfectly fine. You could peek with a nade and be able to do that. So I think that this just I'd say this is probably your best shot at positioning, is being up here, because it checks off like a lot of the same boxes, except for you also get high ground, extra congestion, and ability to use your abilities. Um, that all makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying with like there is like a minor downside of it's like mildly more difficult to hit your teammates, but that you just
It's
have
just
to.
like this steep angle right here. Like I'm looking all the way down. And then
Mhm.
I get scared. Like if I needed to drop, where would I rotate? If my tank here
Mhm.
pushed up into this choke, like pushed up, where
Mhm.
would I drop and then where would I position myself from there?
Okay.
Like
Well,
behind the back?
you would drop, and then you'd probably position yourself around where your teammates are at right now.
Okay.
you go like this. 'Cause in the same way that like if you're back here, like if he pushes forwards, like it's really like the same thing ultimately, because then you can still line of sight using the cover that you have here as needed. So it's if your tank were to push, then it's the same exact thing as where all your teammates are. Is you're just using this cover that you have here to heal your teammate, and then if they started pushing and you need to back out, well then you just back out the same place your teammates are. As you're just going back to point really. Plus the big idea is that you're holding them for the choke, which is the best positioning to be holding anyways. Which your goal is to not let them through. If
Okay.
you've let them through, then you're already like halfway towards losing here.
I'm here. Keep fighting.
Very nice.
I keep you up. Taking damage.
Could be chucking in a nade when like all three of them are grouped up there. There you go.
Don't fret. I see you. No.
Very nice. Yeah, probably can just save a lot of those sleeps for him. Or like is once again recognizing team comp, right? They have Doomfist and Genji who have the potential to contest you, right? So there is a decent amount of potential pressure. Plus Doomfist is very high value because you can sleep him out of his block, which just shuts down him as a character. So really saving sleep for the defense, like to use it defensively on those two characters, or I guess like you could say like sometimes maybe minorly offensive on the Doomfist if he's just sitting there blocking. That's going to probably be really valuable to do. Yeah, that's pretty much what I want to do here.
Okay.
Close your eyes. Stand up.
So I probably like wouldn't go for a sleep like that because nobody's really able to capitalize on it. And then you're just down the 14-second cooldown, right? So
Yeah. There's no value in it.
yeah, exactly. So if a Genji or a Doomfist were to jump into your team now, and now you don't have that ability to shut them down.
Okay.
My ultimate is ready. Get in there, and I will boost you.
Nicely.
Fortify.
Give your team like a 1/4%. Oh, I guess they're like all ready. I mean, unless you like everyone was ready for it. It looked like they were all just like coming around that corner though.
Yeah,
'Cause-
my team is really good about getting to them. I probably should have waited a little bit longer,
Yeah.
but I know that I have my entire team in VC, and and I know they turn instantly.
Yeah. Maybe you could have given it like extra half second because it looks like your Junkrat's just turning the corner pretty quick. Because he was trying to land the trap too there. Okay, so we get caught out in the open here.
Yeah.
Probably could have just because there's so much contention on Doomfist. It probably would not have been very dangerous just to be over with your team on that bus, which would put you less out in the open here. Additionally, we go for the nano on the Junkrat, which
Yeah,
we
probably should have nanoed my Sim or my Sig here.
yeah, I agree. I think so. Sim's not really in position for it, but Sim is probably your bet. In once again, going back to like nano priorities, which I think we've talked about in the past, right? Sim is probably your number one if she's in range and full charge, right? That's probably number one. Number two is probably Sigma, especially if he has his ult, and then number three is probably Junkrat. So I would probably give it to your Sigma at the moment, with Junkrat being an okay option.
Okay.
Okay, somehow you make it through.
I needed that. Taking care of you. you fall.
Okay, line of setting teammates there.
Don't fret. I see you.
Unscoped shots at pretty far distances. Nice sleep. Probably could have naded it once again. Remember, so here we could be nading him right now. We could be nading him because remember you can throw that right at the right where you're aiming, or right a little bit above where you're aiming, and that can, because it has splash damage, you can hit people around corners with
I
it.
wanted to get. I knew that he wasn't low enough for the nade to kill him, and I wanted LOS so that I could fire a shot after while he was waking up from the sleep animation. But it
Yeah.
just put me in a bad position. Like I'm way too pushed up.
Yeah, I think what we didn't think about is just the fact that our teammates also saw you land the sleep. So I think I would expect, hopefully hope for the teammates to get the shot, like shot in with you, and then just be aware of what your teammates are up to, because Symmetra does land the shot, and we could have chucked in a nade, like right as she lands this. You see, right there we could have naded and then killed him, but it's just a little bit of awareness of what your teammates are up to.
The conflict has foundered and up straight.
Enemy returns.
Okay, good nade.
I'm just way too pushed up here. I think I die for this too.
Oh no.
Yeah. Like what? I just need to back up.
Oh, maybe you don't die.
No. Maybe that's later. I think I might do it again and just die later.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, saving abilities if you know that they have a blade, right? So
Yeah.
that comes back to like ult tracking and stuff like that, right? Being aware of what they have. Alright, so let's do wrap up a review and main points. Okay, so ability usage, a lot better, but still, of course, not perfect, because nobody is. And when it comes to your ability usage, nades and sleeps, generally speaking, nades are used a little bit more aggressively, sleeps are used a little bit more defensively. Therefore, as a general rule of thumb, you come in and you're using nades before you're using sleeps, because you're generally going to have those aggressive engagement before you have that defensive engagement. But that's not an end-all be-all. It kind of depends. If you see a good opportunity for a sleep, go for it. But some of the times, because you're just throwing it off a cooldown, you're throwing it when it's not really needed. So watch the times where you're throwing it on people who are 3,000 miles away, who are around corners from your whole team, who you know you're not going to be able to kill, things like that. Nades, make sure you're hitting the floor in between as many people as possible. Don't hit them directly. Make sure you're watching for them to all group up and you're hitting them as they're all clumped up in a little ball. Watch for the abilities. Watch for potential for pressure and actual pressure. Can they contest you versus are they actually contesting you, and start to hold on to your abilities more and more as needed. And I think that's mostly it with abilities overall. Like a medium priority for you to work on. Better than last time, definitely. Lots of improvement with it. And a lot of that improvement is the fact that we're just using it more, right?
Yeah.
Next comes ult usage, which was pretty solid. Not too many problems. Trying to remember if we had any points of ult usage. Target priority, right? We just talked about there at the end very briefly. That's really about it. I don't think we really talked too much on it. You're generally really good at getting your nano blades in and stuff like that. So overall, that was a low priority. Your mechanics, watch, because sometimes you're using your unscope. I think you have a tendency to lean into your unscoped shots, especially at ranges when maybe it's not as beneficial to do so. So you're getting out to like you're getting out to like 25, 30 meters, and you're still unscoping on people. So just be careful, because that's just going to lead to inaccuracy. So scope in, think about the times that you can be quick scoping, not really seeing as much quick scoping as could. Reminder that it's useful primarily when under pressure and when taking space. But none of that's like massive. Within mechanics, make sure you're healing when healing is needed and damaging otherwise. Sometimes we're like healing or we're damaging when there's somebody critical right next to you. And then we'll kind of touch into all of the noticing your teammates are low thing when we get to awareness. Occasionally you'll fire shots into walls and stuff like that, but reload habits, reload when you have a lull in time. Overall, this stuff is like low to medium priority for you to work on. Next comes positioning. Make sure you're thinking about all the different things that go into where you're standing. Or check off all the boxes. Do I have cover? Sometimes you're out in the open. Do I have a high ground? Sometimes you don't take high ground. So I mean, like, that's probably a bigger one, right? Take high grounds, right? Because lots of good positioning that comes along with that. You'll either not take it or you'll drop from it really quickly. So take high grounds. It's good place to be. Off angles, can you land your abilities? Can the enemy team see me? Can I see my team? A line of sight. Sometimes you're putting yourself out of line of sight of enemies, or of teammates is what I meant to say. Rotating, knowing where to rotate, the fastest route to take, things like that. Overall, that was like a medium priority for you to work on. And then finally comes awareness. Pay attention to, where's my team at? What are they all up to? Who's low? Who needs you? Who's in danger? Pre-aiming at who needs you, right? That was probably the biggest one in there. Also paying attention to where's enemies at. Sometimes you wouldn't notice when the ball's on you. Paying attention to team comp and how that dictates your play style. And then all of the other odds and ends within awareness. Overall, that one is probably like higher end of a medium, maybe lower end of a medium high. So put that all in order. Number one probably is awareness, right? Pay attention to where's your team and enemy team at, right? Especially. Number two, probably gonna be probably positioning, then ability usage, or I guess we'll say ability usage so we can keep the trend up, so that you're continuing to work on ability usage, because they're pretty even, and I want to give you some time to like keep working and not lose all momentum. So that's number two. If you want that, you can be even putting that up to like number one and just continue with it as well. It's kind of up to you if you think you have it down or not. If you catch yourself, if you start focusing on awareness and you find yourself slipping with ability usage, then maybe go back and focus on ability usage for another week, right? Next, so after ability usage, then comes positioning, then mechanics, and that's about it. Any final questions?
No.
Alright, sounds good to me.